When you're trying to engage and motivate people, there's all kinds of ideas that might work, but if you know which ones will work, you've got a significant competitive advantage. The Environmental Defense Fund is a very large organization based in Washington, D.C., and we did some work with them to help them understand their donors and what values their donors are using to decide where they're going to give their money to and how much they're going to give to. So we went out and did our work and came back and put a little presentation together and explained who the different kinds of people are within the Environmental Defense Fund data set, what the segments are for their audience. One segment we gave the nickname, "The Guilty as Charged." And these are people who understand that their value of experiences, for which they over-index compared to everybody else, is driving them to jump on airplanes and go and fly all over the place and do all kinds of crazy things. And they feel guilty about it because they know every time they jump on one of those airplanes or go on one of these trips that they're contributing to global warming and the melting of the polar ice cap and all kinds of other problems that come from jet travel. But they also have an incredibly high value around harmony. So they don't like being the people who are making that happen. So the reason they're donating is because it's helping them with their guilt. They feel guilty for going on that trip, and therefore they make a donation. When it's a longer trip, they make a bigger donation. When it's a shorter trip, they make a smaller donation. So this is really interesting information to know if you're a fundraising organization, which a big portion of what Environmental Defense Fund is all about is getting the money to go out and do the good work that they're doing around the world. So it turns out that in this case, those revelations, those insights only reinforced one of the programs that they were already working on, which is with a major airline to make it possible to donate to the Environmental Defense Fund when you buy your ticket based on the length of your trip. So different trips have different amounts of money that you'll be able to decide to send over to the Environmental Defense Fund and build that sense of harmony right back into the purchase so that their experiences are not causing as much friction in the way that they walk through their days and understand their place in the world. So there's one example of how knowing something about some values for a particular audience that you're trying to engage and the outcomes that you're trying to influence. If you know the values, you can focus your work, your strategies, your ideas, your marketing, your product development, your messaging, whatever it is you're responsible for doing. You can focus it in a way that you know is going to move the needle. It's like knowing what buttons you need to push in order to influence the outcomes that you'd like to achieve. There you go, Environmental Defense Fund, and the guilty is charged.